Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on November 23rd, 2025, at approximately 8 p.m. PST. Now, I've made it my life's calling to remind people that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. I bill myself not well. I bill myself as a spiritual guide because the tools I offer are the exact same tools I personally use in my day-to-day life. And the philosophies of life I talk about are the precise philosophies I use to guide virtually every decision I make. Now, with this in mind, I know these tools will work for you because they continue to work for me and have literally worked for thousands of other people over the years with varying degrees of success depending on their own personal efforts. Now, today we're going to be looking at rediscover yourself, as in the real you, the hidden you, if you will. But before we get into it, I do want to tip my hat to Storm. Storm is our primary moderator, and he hides in the back a lot, making sure technology runs properly. And rest assured, with me, that can be a challenge and a half. Okay, but he is also the one that makes certain that problem children that show up on site are no longer on site. This is intended to be a safe area for everybody. And yes, even those of you that decide to come in and try and cause a problem either deliberately or accidentally, you'll be popped outside, you can still listen, and the next day you'll be able to come back in, okay, where you can participate in the discussion. Now here's the kicker. If you repeat the problem action too often, and I can't tell you how many times you get, I didn't put a number on it. I looked at it and went, moderators, here's the thing. When they become a permanent problem, ban them altogether. Okay, this is my request. They're not being bullies, they're just doing what I asked. Now, before we get carried on going down too many rabbit holes, I do want Mike Jones, you are in with the goal. How you doing, Mike? Glad you could join us. And Ellie Moon has just entered the building. Ellie is our primary on-site moderator. And again, she is there to help keep the conversation going, to add comments when nobody's talking. Okay, much more importantly, Ellie Moon is there to make absolutely certain that my health is being watched. And rest assured that again can be a challenge and a half. But it's one of those things that you'll come to understand in time, hopefully not really, that it literally is what keeps me breathing on occasion. Now, with that in mind, okay, we are looking at rediscovering yourself. Now, understanding, I've been helping people, consulting with them, personal and business, for over 50 years. Barely over 50 years at this point. Nope, over 50 years solidly. I'm now into 52. Okay. And the nice part about it is I started when I was 10. So you're looking at a database of people I've talked to, guiding them through personal tragedy, through relationships, through business, through family growth. Okay. And I asked the same question of a lot of them, or it came up is more to the point. So I'll drop the question on your lap. When you take a look at the big picture, what would you yourself really like to have? What would make you feel better about you? Okay. Now I've got a list of 7 things that are the most common things. Now, I can read them off just to twig your mind. Okay. And I'll give you the first one because this is the one that I always thought. Okay. Many, 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 many people ask for peace of mind. Okay. Now, peace of mind may be any number of descriptions, but it's one of those things that virtually everybody has mentioned, that they, it's one of those primary things that people desire. Okay. I know myself, I thought I had it a number of times. It is a hard one to wrap your mind around. Okay. But think of what gets you up in the morning, aside from the alarm clock or washroom necessities. Okay. Or maybe, as my ex-wife found out, a munchkin. But what are some of the things you guys feel are, and given the number of people in the room right now, which is a mind-boggling, staggering 4 people. I'm not complaining, don't get me wrong. It took a long time to piece it together, but the people that need to hear this right off the bat will be here. Okay, or more to the point, the people that require it. So I've got, oddly enough, I actually put crib notes together. Okay, but here's the top. What is it? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. The top 7. The top 7 in no particular order. Things that people around the world, every walk of life, every race, every species I've dealt with, they all want the same. They all desire the same sorts of things. Okay, and this is the 7 top. Now, the neat thing about the number 7 is this is the number of self-awareness. Okay. But we have peace of mind. We have protection from harm. People desire to be safe. Okay. Peace of mind. You desire your mind to settle so you can actually be productive, so you can feel a little more buoyant, a little happier, maybe a little more productive, but something to stop your mind from running on that gerbil wheel, on the hamster wheel, and going around in circles, or on that death trap from my childhood, also known as a merry-go-round. And I don't mean the live one. I'm referring to that little metal disc in the blazing hot sun the kids used to hang on to and spin around in circles in the hopes that the guy doing the spinning could catapult you off it. Okay, this is the kind of circular thinking people go through. But peace of mind is the one that that a lot of people really are looking for. Now, the funny part about it is most of you don't even realize you're seeking peace of mind. What do we got? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through these one at a time. Okay, but there are 7. Okay, now, peace of mind is a wonderful thing. I really wish I had it on occasion. But here's the thing, there's a lot that happens now. All of these different topics, all of these different quests, if you will, are all linked together. Okay, so with peace of mind, we also turn around and look at the second one, which is protection from harm. Now, protection from harm is not just a physical quest. It is a mental quest as well. Maybe, and this is where I ran into a snag. Maybe you're watching the news too much and paying attention. You're led to believe, and this to me is backwards, but you've been led to believe, pay attention to the news. They'll keep you informed of what's going on. And I look at it going, really? They tell you the wars that are going on, the wages that are going on, the cutbacks that are going on. They tell you all the news across the board. I mean, it varies from one station to the next or from one source to the next. But they'll tell you about the people that died. Okay, here's the obituaries. And don't get me wrong. For the people that are posting their own personal obituaries, absolutely continue doing so. This is a way of acknowledging what that person meant to you. I just encourage you to acknowledge what that individual means and what individuals mean to you today, instead of waiting until they pass away. Okay, but protection from harm, one of the things that I did to personally limit the amount of emotional and mental damage that was going on is about 20 years ago, I quit watching the news. I quit watching politics. Okay, because I found it very depressing, very derogatory in most cases, and absolutely fear based. Now, that may not have been the way that it was intended, okay, but it is the way it came across. So when we look at protection from harm, it means you have to be the one to say, I'm not taking in that information anymore. Now, like I said, major newscasts, major social media tell you all the bad things, but you know what they don't tell you? Who's getting married? How many graduations are taking place? How many peace treaties have been reached in all the reaches of the world? Because even in war torn countries, treaties are being reached. They don't tell you these things. They don't tell you about what is actually being accomplished. Yeah, LA's just adding, I'm a lot happier and peaceful without the news. As far as I'm concerned, if I'm not in the obituary list, I'm as happy as a clam. Now, sad tale. Decades back, a friend of mine had a habit of going through the obituaries himself. Why? I don't know. But he stopped doing it the day he found his own name, along with all of his family tree that he left behind, that he died. And I'll tell you, it took him a long time to get it straightened out that he actually wasn't dead, right? But they don't tell you about the things that are going on. Like, for instance, you know, when when all the prices were rising, at the time, I was charging $180 an hour. Okay, bear in mind for consulting. Now, understand two things. One, I have been paid as much as $2,600 an hour for what I do. But while all the prices were reaching, it dawned on me, well, we're climbing, it dawned on me that I don't require $180 an hour from one individual. And the people that really required help are not, they just don't have that kind of money. Okay, so what I did, and I was one of the few companies that I know of that actually did it, I turned around and went, nope, I'm sharing my cost. And I dropped from 180 an hour to 80 an hour, 20 bucks for 15 minutes. But they don't tell you, they don't make a big deal out of, oh, look, the gas prices went down. Sure, the gas price went up another 2 cents. Interest rates climbed. But they don't announce the good things, i.e., oh, look, your bank fees are now dropping, or the cost of this particular grocery has collapsed. Now, here's the kicker. They talk about the gas going up. Okay. And one of the things that you got to realize when we take a look at gas prices, okay, when they tell you the gas is going up, it's because the cost in the Middle East is going up. Bad news. They've got, from my understanding, a 6-month supply of gas in stock. Okay, and this is pretty much every country. Okay, now this said, they tell you all the bad things, so protecting yourself from that, my recommendation personally is quit listening to the news. Sure, talk to the people around you, but the ones that are always coming to you and going, this is the bad things going on in the world, stop listening to them. Surround yourself with people that are uplifting, that are upbeat, and rest assured, when I'm not here, I'm not necessarily the best person to hang around. Okay, but the thing with that is, when I said they're all linked, okay, peace of, the protecting yourself to keep yourself safe from harm, peace of mind will help with that. Plus, as you eliminate the stress factors in your life, you'll turn around and you'll find that sense of peace coming to your heart. I'll tell you, bringing peace to your heart can drop your blood pressure. Okay, dropping your stress level will drop your blood pressure. In my case, it's great. My blood pressure climbs too high, my heart stops. Okay, bonus, signal's still there, so when my blood pressure drops, my heart kicks back in. This is how come I live as long as I've lived through as much as I have. But peace of mind contributes to your self-protection from harm. And avoiding the people that are causing you harm, whether they are bloodline or not. You know the old saying, blood is thicker than water. Check the viscosity of it or the density of it. Blood is absolutely thicker than water. Okay. However, sometimes family can be toxic. Renee Andrews, how you doing? Glad you could join us. You are in with the silver. Sometimes you've got to cut off family, as in just stay away from them because they're either negative or they're adding too much stress to your life. This may apply to lifelong friends, or lifelong, or maybe you've got a friend that you've been friends for decades, but now you're discovering they've got some pretty toxic personality traits. This is the time. We are at the end of 2025 here. Now, long overdue, but definitely time to start shearing off the things that are causing you a problem. And we have Donna C. You are in with the bronze. How you doing, Donna? Glad you could join us. So sometimes you gotta cut off a lifelong friend. Maybe you knew the person since childhood, and there you've now looked at it and gone, they really do bring a lot of negative energy and a lot of stress with them. This is long overdue time to let them go. Now, absolutely, just a thought. Yeah, Mike Jones goes, I learned that in 2006. I'm a slow learner. It took me until this year to figure that one out. So give yourself a pat on the back, Mike. Like I said, I am not the best of the best. I am not even the best of me, but I'm working on it. Okay? But sometimes you've got to let a past connection go. And of course, you get the arguments with yourself, but I've known them for this long. I really don't want to throw all that time away. Even when you're looking at marriage, most people get married till death do we part. The same thing they forget is that is meant as the death of the emotional connection, not the physical body. Okay, now that's number 2, is the protection from harm. But you're the one that's got to deal with it. Okay, now number 3 that I've got on the list, and again, these are in no particular order. One of the other things that a lot of people are going through, I desire, and you'll notice I say I desire, not I want. We'll discuss language next year. Okay. But I desire, as a matter of fact, that's not a bad idea at all. I desire people to like me. Well, here's a question most people forget. Okay. And it was a big one for me to come to terms with. Let me see here. Yep. Don't mind me, just making sure I make a note so I've got things listed. I'm starting to book literally. I'm still working on this year, but I'm starting to book into the new year as far as the topics we're going to be looking at. Now, people go, I desire people to like me. Well, here's the question that most people forget to ask. Okay, and you got to be honest with yourself on this one. That was really terrible. Do you like you? Okay, because I'll tell you, if you don't like you, that's going to come across, and you may run into a problem with other people liking you. And we'll cover that in a lot more detail in a little bit. Okay, probably a week down the road here or so. But, people desire you and desire other people to like them. Well, here's the kicker. Yes, talking to people, being communicative, simply saying hi as you walk by is treating people better. And it does. I know this from practical experience and by talking to other people. Okay. By just saying hi, you open that door to let people get a little closer. Okay. But the fundamental backbone is this: you have to like you. Now, take a look at the way you're treating people. Okay. Are you treating the way people are that you're treating people? If somebody treated you like that, would you like them? If the answer is no, it may be time to adjust what you're doing. And again, the more people that like you, the less likely you are to have problems, to have harm drawn to you. You'll also find that as you get along with the people around you, circle back to I desire peace of mind. Okay. As you start gathering a group of people around you that like you, okay, that peace of mind gets added to. So does the protection from harm. Okay. Now that's only number 3. And like I said, we got 7. Now, if any of these ring true to you, absolutely put your hand up, wave, saying like Mike did here. Okay, these are the most common. Now there may be other. Well, there are others. Okay, now then we go to number 4. Okay, a lot of people go, I desire to have a full life. Well, I do recommend, if you're going, desiring a full life is a great idea. My life right now is full of confusion, overcrowding, stress, depression. This is a full life. I prefer a full life full of happiness, joy, and camaraderie. Okay. But that all starts with you. Okay. You don't wait for the government or some CEO to say, hey, we're going to make your life better. Okay. You certainly don't wait for them to go, hey, we're going to mess your life up. They're going to do it on their own accord. There's no problem there. Okay. Or more to the point, they're going to give you the opportunity for you to have your own life screwed up. Now, there are extenuating circumstances, and we're just not going to go down that rabbit hole. But when we talk about having a full life, make certain that you are focusing on the things that truly make you happy. Okay. I've mentioned this concept of taking a sheet of paper, and I'm as you well know, I'm a firm believer that the list method works. Write the first 12 things down that come to your heart that you enjoy doing. Okay. One of the things for me is having a cup of coffee in the morning, and at noon, and in the afternoon. And of course, we got to have a cup of coffee about every 15 minutes. See, I saw it put really neat one day. I like my coffee in the morning. The first cup. Blue, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Blue, you are in with honorable mention. But nice to see you. Now, I heard it put really nice. I like my coffee in the morning. The first cup is to help me get my brain started, give me a chance to get organized, mentally speaking. The coffees after that are to help me deal with the problem children I have to run into in my world. Now, for me, I'm going through a coffee about every 15 minutes from the time I get up to the time I go to bed. Okay. Now, if you think about that, if I'm only up for 10 hours, I'm going through about 30 cups of coffee. Now, some people would say that was too much, and we're just going to ignore that problem because rest assured, it actually works out better. A lot less people are dead. No, that's wrong. Well, probably, but the reality of it is this. Sam, how you doing? Sam Gaffonian Sam Gaffonian Rockstar is in the house. Now, when you're looking at your full life, okay, get that list together, the 12 top things you enjoy. Those are the things that you concentrate on. We won't go any further down that road. We'll go down that one again down later, down sometime early next year. But when we are taking a look at that, a full life will help bring peace of mind, because the fuller your life is, quite seriously, the less time you have to stress. Okay. the fuller your life is, the less likely you are to find yourself in situations that are dangerous to you, either physically or mentally. Okay, so, and again, the peace of mind, the full life will help bring the peace of mind, and it'll help protect you. And of course, it does that other neat little thing. Your full life is likely to put you in contact with other people. Now, of course, there are those of you that are reclusive, and your full life may be the whole idea. Out, the phone rings. So you pick up the phone, you go, you pick it up, you go, no. And you may spend your day just hanging up on people you don't even know who they are. Personally, when I see an unknown caller, I literally do that. I'm not talking to that. It's just that simple. But a full life is the fourth item, and like I said, just made a list of them. Then we go, the fifth one on the list is material success. Now, what is material success? Sorry, that's your department. I used to think material success meant stuff. Okay, and you think with the number of lifetimes I've lived through. Oh, Sam goes, I stepped into the light. Glad to have you back. I did that a couple of months back. But, when we look at material success, some people go, stuff. I need, and some of you will laugh at this. Okay, some of you won't. I'm not picking on anybody. Understand, if I'm dealing with, since I'm dealing with well over 100,000 clients, I'm dealing with somewhere around 50,000 of each gender. And yeah, guys, I don't care what anybody's saying or what's politically correct. You got two metabolic genders, and that's just the way that is. Okay, but some people look in the closet and go, I require material success for me is having a pair of shoes for every day of the month, a different pair of shoes. Now, for me, if I got one pair of shoes that works, I'm good. Maybe it's a question of having all your little knickknacks, because they all hold sentimental value. Now, I'm not going to tell you that you shouldn't have sentimental value. Okay, absolutely you should. Some of you will look at material success and go, that means I've got a bank balance of X dollars. Okay, I should have paid attention to that one when I was younger. But material success, once you've got that success, what you feel is success, you will find your mind is much more at ease. The neat part about it is it brings that peace of mind back. It will help you protect yourself from harm. Because I'll tell you, if you've got the money in the bank, and I know this from practical experience, I've lived on the edge of being homeless most of my life. Okay, if you've got a bank balance that says, I'm sitting on this much money, so my rent and my utilities are paid, you are protecting yourself from mental stress. That's your responsibility. It's not the government's, it's not the pharmaceutical companies, and it's certainly not, and I'm not sure there's much difference here, the drug dealers. Okay, yes, drugs can make you more relaxed. By the way, caffeine is a drug. It just happens to be a legal one, and that's illegal. The neat part about it is that when you're getting that protection, okay, you'll also find when you're materially successful, ask yourself this, and please be honest with yourself. When you see somebody walking down the street and they've got clean clothes, maybe the newest fashion, take a look at how you respond to that person as compared to how you respond to somebody living on the street that's in dirty clothes. Maybe their hair's kind of ratty. Yeah, LA goes, I've danced a few rounds with homeless. Has nothing to recommend it. Yeah, I've managed to avoid it Sometimes I literally got an eviction notice once for rent not being paid. But that was because my boss bounced a paycheck and never bothered telling me. Right? It was just bizarre. But once you've got that material success, you will find other people are drawn to you. Now, here's the kicker: do not let people guilt you, if you will, into giving them money. Oh, you've got so much, you can give me a little. Yeah, I love the ones. I had a guy on the street, and he was pushy. Understand that. But he come to me and he says, he asked for a little change. And I happened to be dressed really well that day. I was just getting off work. And he made the mistake of looking at me and going, "Oh, come on, you've obviously got money. The least you can do is share a little." And I looked at the guy and I went, "Actually, you just blew it. The least I can do is absolutely nothing." Okay. So, and I usually help people as much as I can. I just don't like pushy ones. There's a lot of people I don't like, but that's beside the point. But understand, it is complicated when you start letting people know, I've got X number of dollars. Mike, that's actually not a bad question. Mike goes, how many of the homeless could be visitors observing human behavior? Here's the funny thing. The way you phrase that, all of them could be. Okay, they aren't. Most of the people you see homeless are regular people from this world that, for one reason or another, and in all fairness, comparatively, seldom by choice. Okay, but with the idea of could they be visitors, certainly. I will tell you there are a number of actors, or there used to be a number of actors, that are referred to as method actors, that literally would live on the street as a homeless person to get their act down properly. Oh, what do we got here? LA Moon is going, fog equals fear, obligation, and guilt is used by people to get money or favor. Okay, and that's absolutely the issue. Now, of course, I will tell you, when they're utilizing fear, better to part with money than your life. Okay, I had a bad run-in years ago. At the time, I didn't react to anything well. And this guy pulls a gun on me. Now, that's where fear should have kicked in. And he pulls the gun on me and he goes, "Give me your wallet." I looked at him and I said, "Why?" I said, "What are you going to do? Kill me again?" Right. Now, this is not a good reaction. Somebody pulls a gun on you and says, "Give you their wallet." I'm telling you now, I am not I'm not a stress counselor per se. But in my opinion, it is way better to turn over whatever you've got in the material world in favor of keeping your life. Okay. Or even in favor of getting a beating. Now, when we take a look at this, material success, remember, now, absolutely, if you like your fine clothes, you like your shoes, whatever, no problem. But I strongly recommend you do not tell people how much money you have in the bank. This is information they don't require, and they can and undoubtedly will use against you. And I'm not talking about the government. I'm talking about people that you think are your friends. And yes, there are people that you think are friends. We discussed the idea of just kind of disconnecting from some of them. Okay. So when we take a look at that, okay, material success is a beneficial thing. Now, I've told you guys, I'm in the middle of doing so. I've told you guys, inside my house, inside my apartment, I am going to have the best of the best, in my opinion. This means I'm getting rid of the stuff I don't desire. It also means that the woman that I took the time to find and subsequently married, in my eyes, is the best of the best. So, no, you can't have her. Well, if she decides to leave, she's gone. That's her call. But when you're looking at material success, it is a personal decision, a personal comprehension, a personal marker. Okay. Now, Number 6 on the list is good health. Okay, so many people go, I wish I was healthier. Now, there's 2 roads you can go down. Okay, and they are not separate. Absolutely, if if you're dealing with a doctor, if you're dealing with medication or any sort of long-term illness, absolutely talk to the doctors. The theory is they know more than you do about the way your body works. If you're not convinced of that, do your own research. Now, I caution you, Google does not have all the answers. Okay, it really doesn't. But some of the information in there is no longer promoted anywhere. Some of the cooking methods, some of the herbs, spices, and what have you, these are things you can use to improve your health. A sedentary lifestyle, as in sitting on your backside, is going to be problematic. Okay, but the healthier you are, the less you're going to worry about your health, the more you're going to consider what things can you do that you can enjoy and with whom can you do them. This will help bring your peace of mind. It will, and yes, I did put this list together. This will also help protect you from harm. Because here's the kicker: you take care of your health, whether it's at the guidance of a trained physician, or an herbalist, or just a housewife that has learned things. Okay, all of these things used in unison, in moderation, in unison, will help protect your health. Now, I'm going to put it to you this way. Here's one that I've been looking for an answer. Okay, I'm looking for whatever herbs, whatever spices that you can get either in the grocery store or even in a farmer's market for that matter to help rebuild teeth. Because I ain't going to a dentist. I can't. Well, technically I could, but I suffer from PTSD. And yeah, Operation Shutdown. Operation, how you doing? Glad you could join us. LA Moon is going, it's just better to shop around where doctors are concerned. So one of the biggest things that you got to realize where it comes to your health, you're the one that's got to do it. Because I'll tell you the number of people that have been told you got to lose weight because your life depends on it. The doctor can give you every rule, every reason in the book to lose weight. If you don't stop filling your face and getting up and moving a little when possible, I will tell you, you're not going to lose that weight. And you certainly, if you go on to this idea of, oh, you can drop 30 pounds in a month, certainly you can. But the odds are you ain't getting and keeping it off. Okay. So when we talk about getting good health, a couple of things you can do in addition to that. Meditation works like an absolute charm. Okay. Meditation, which boils down to sitting down and contemplating what's making you content. What are you happy with? What are you doing because you desire to do it? Are you helping people because that's what you do? Or are you helping people because somebody's making you feel guilty or fearful? Or they're telling you it's your job to help me. It's not your job to help anybody. Now, here's a little known secret, and not a well kept one. I have a real complicated outlook on life. And you can look up the definition yourself, but I happen to be a misanthrope with philanthropic tendencies. Okay, not a real great place to sit. But look up those terms yourself and you'll figure out what it means. Okay, one of the things that you got to remember when you're looking at the herbalistic side, if you're buying store-bought herbs, okay, you can, like, for instance, a bottle of spice, you can bet it's a weaker form than the natural herb. That's just the way it works. If you can get the natural herbs and you can cook yourself, this is a way better option. Okay, and this is why I should have done it earlier, but I didn't have time. This is why when I get done this stream, I'm going to make dinner. Kind of late in the evening, but what the heck. Now, the last one that I've got on the list here that so many people have asked me about and said, this is what I really desire to know. And I'm going to cross the border here, and I'm going to tell you, I'm going to use one term. This individual is known by multiple names, multiple cultures, multiple societies, multiple people, multiple planets. But so many people, by one name or another, desire to know God. Okay, that spiritual connection is extremely important to most people. Okay, Blue Cruise goes, I'm working on getting my weight down through gym workouts. And that's excellent, Blue. I tried the gym, it didn't work for me. However, the fact that you use the term workout is extremely beneficial, but I do desire you to look in. I suggest you talk to the professionals. Okay, find yourself a decent trainer that knows what he's doing. One thing that I discovered in my journey was on day one, you work your major muscles. On day two, you work your minor muscles. And you get to talk to the fitness professionals to figure out which are which. Okay, that way you're not overworking any of them. They get time to recover. Okay, now one of the neat little things, and we've got Sam here is letting us know. And again, people, I caution you. To the best of my knowledge, nobody in this room is a trained health professional, but these are real people, and real people have real answers. And what Sam is suggesting is cut down on bread. Dough is bad, and up your protein. You'll lose weight. You can eat a lot of meat and still lose weight. You absolutely can. I mean, take a look at lions and tigers. You know, and this is one of the things I've had to do is really adjust my diet. The other thing that I will tell you, I had a brother, and I did say had. He had one of the worst diets I'd heard of. He drank 2 liters of Coke and a box of Kraft dinner, of Kraft macaroni and cheese. Every meal. Can't picture why he ended up dying. But these are things you watch your sugar intakes, do your own research, look into the issue of the foods that work. Absolutely, portion control is important. One of the things I found out with that one, I got a little sidetracked, is if you've got a big dinner plate, use a luncheon plate. It will help. We'll talk about health again on another day. But when we are looking at getting to know God, understand the people that believe in God, well, for those of you that believe in God, no proof is necessary. For those of you that don't believe in God, no proof is likely possible. Okay, but understand that getting to know God means you have to look inside, because everybody I've talked to says the same thing. God is in everyone. Well, unless you're not one of the everyone, God is in you, getting to know you. A friend of mine coined it beautifully. He goes, to know oneself is to know all. Now, I don't know where he heard it from. Sam, I'm going to punch a hole in that. Sam says, nobody likes to help people. That's the issue. It's sad. Look after each other. Well, that part, and the last part of that, Sam, I absolutely agree with. Okay, but the issue of nobody likes to help people, I'm laying on, Sam, that you like to help people. I know for an absolute certainty that I do. And I can tell you, yes, I'm selective in who I help. Okay, and everybody should be. But, the reality is people like helping people. The problem is so many people have been told it's somebody else's problem to fix it. Okay, now I have spent my life helping people going, this is what you're doing, this has to change, here's an idea. If you don't physically make the change, if you don't put the effort in, your life isn't changing. Now, I have run into people where they literally have had their life changed before their eyes. Now, of course, here's the other kicker about getting to know God. I really strongly recommend get to know him now. Even those of you, and I've literally been at the side of somebody as they were dying, and they were an absolute atheist. However, on their deathbed, most people, especially if they're scared, turn and pray to God by some name. Okay, this is not a question of do people believe. Most people, it turns out, believe wholeheartedly in God, but most people refuse to admit it because of the negative connotation that other believers have put on it. Because so many people, I love the way George Carlin put it. It's okay to believe in an invisible God as long as you believe in the same invisible God I believe in. Okay, now I'm not fussy about who you believe in, but if you desire to get to know God, there's two things to keep in mind. Look inside yourself. Are you treating people the way you desire to be treated? Are you talking to people the way you desire to be talked to? If you desire to surround yourself with people that purportedly believe in God, find yourself by any name. Now understand, might be God, might be goddess. There's a whole list of names. I don't know all of them. Okay, but the people that don't that you're looking for are the ones that quite seriously do not see a building as the rendition of it. Now, a building can be a focal point, and you'll likely find a lot of people that believe in God in a church, in a temple. Absolutely, surround yourself with people of like mind. This is one of the things. This is one of the big things that virtually everybody I spoke to has said. I desire to know God better. And sometimes it's been, I go to church and I'm watching what the people in church are doing, and they're not doing what they're talking about. Unfortunately, this is a common problem. Now ask yourself this. If you bear witness to this, are you one of these people that will stand up and say, you're claiming this, but this is what you're doing? Now, I know for an absolute certainty, I am one of these people that put my foot in my mouth. It's never a question of am I going to put my foot in my mouth? It's how. How many? Oh, Blue Cruz goes, Keith, I base my workouts and nutrition around the original P90X program. That one, in all fairness, I have no idea what that is. But my suspicion is that bearing in mind you call it the original, it's the one that actually was working before people started worrying about whether or not you were upsetting somebody. Okay, but surround yourself with people of like mind, preferably with people of a positive like mind. I'll tell you, if you surround yourself with thieves, crooks, and con men, I'll tell you, you're going to be in a world where you get stolen from, lied to, and conned. Okay, your call. Because I'll tell you, no matter where you walk in life, it won't have a lot of bearing on where I walk. Okay, but this is the important factor here. Now, before we get into it, I started this journey. I figured it was a quick one, and then I got looking at the notes. So, tomorrow, we're down under the 10-minute mark here. So, just make note of this. Next Sunday, we are still going to be dealing with rediscovering yourself. Okay, but next Sunday, we are going to be looking at the fact that, let me call that up because I put the note somewhere else. Where are we? Right there. We are going to be looking at rediscovering yourself, the threefold you. We're going to take a look at really what makes you, you. Okay. The Sunday after that, we're going to be taking a look at self-analysis. Okay. So, because I'm starting to book things down the road, And I've got Sunday is booked solid until the new year. Okay, but we are going to continue taking a look at things and making certain that you know exactly what you are, who you are. Where are we here? LA goes, my own diet is basically keto, with a foray occasionally into carnivore. I keep my weight steady doing this, and my blood sugar. This is fantastic. I personally haven't looked at the keto method. I haven't looked at the formula at all. But the carnivore thing, I like that a lot. Okay. Thank you very much for that, and for that, LA. We are down to the 10-minute mark here. Okay. Now, we are going to spend the rest of this year on Sundays looking at figuring out who you are so that come 2026, we hit the deck running to ensure that you're on track for a much more prosperous new year. Okay? We can't do a thing about the past. And this is the one thing, even God can't go back to the past and alter it. Okay, sorry, you're out of luck on that one. Okay, but this is the turning point. Now, I'm doing these same exercises that I'm talking to you about. Okay, this is why I call myself a spiritual guide. Yeah, LA goes, I can't be bothered with counting carbs. I have enough trouble with counting meals. I used to eat only one meal a day, right? I got a buddy that eats one meal a day, and his comment was simple. If you ate as little as I do, you'd pass out. If I ate as much as you do, I'd be 800 pounds. I used to eat one meal. I'd start eating when I got up in the morning, and I'd quit when I went to bed at night. Okay, that has been changed. But when we are taking a look at getting to know God, you will get to know a few things. Number one, it leads to a better peace of mind. It will help protect you from the spiritual harm you can do to yourself by doing that thing we talked about. Watching the news. This is depressing. Okay. I like watching movies, and why there's nothing wrong with watching movies where you see a whole pile of people getting killed. You know these actors, they're going to be back next week. Okay. Very few actors actually die on the set. On the newsreels, lots of people die and they're not actors. Okay. But getting to know God will also help you find a way to get along with other people. Okay. It will also add to that neat little thing of giving you a full life. Because if your material world is full, if you're going to the gym on a regular basis, you're eating properly, you've got all the material things you like, having that spiritual bond is extremely important and very rewarding. Okay. Even myself, who turned away from the church, from the major religions, even myself, I find a relationship with what I consider God a very helpful thing. It will also help you attain your material success as well as your good health. All of these things are interconnected. So if you didn't write them down as we went through them, I encourage you to go back through, listen to this video again, and mark down these big goals. Now, absolutely, people, if you've got a goal that wasn't on this list, do me a favor and drop me a line and let me know what it was. Okay, now all of this information, because we're down to the last little bit here, all of this information, okay, is available on my website at thebuymeacoffee.com. Okay, at that link, buymeacoffee.com/innervoicej. And yes, for those of you that are wondering, we are looking at getting a day in the office back up and on the go. Okay, we just got some hiccups that we've had to deal with, technologically speaking and socially. Okay, but that site will get every book that I've got in print in your hand. They're all available on PDF. Okay, and we are going to work starting here. Okay, now there's little pockets of people around the world striving to make this a better world. it's time to turn the heat up and get it rolling. Okay. That said, I will be back again tomorrow. Okay. We will be back tomorrow, 8 p.m. Pacific. We will be discussing believing in your finances. Okay. We'll show you how to believe in them, show you what will draw you to them so you can see progress with your money. Okay. That said, while you're out doing that, again, make a list of the changes you'd like to see in your life. We can certainly address them. And all you got to do to get an answer to your questions, because here it's free. Okay, it really is. It just takes a little bit of your time. Now, with that in mind, we will be back again tomorrow, 8 p.m. Pacific. Okay, that's 8 p.m. PST. You get to figure out what time frame that is on your end. Until then, do take care of yourselves and each other, and for pity's sakes, stay positive.